In this video, we're going to look at how to schedule scripts inside PowerShell Universal. We have a bunch of different scheduling options and properties for your schedules, and pretty much the idea is that you define your PowerShell scripts inside PowerShell Universal, and then you can schedule them to run, every minute, every 15 minutes, certain times of the day, one time in the future, or continuously. So if you go to the schedules page and you click create new schedule, you're going to have the option to select a script. I'm going to select this scheduled script.ps1. I can then specify a name, so this is my schedule, and then I can specify a timeout. So some scheduled scripts you don't want to run very long. If it goes over 30 minutes, you may want to terminate it, and that's what this would do. Paused schedules, they are still defined, but they will not run. So this is useful if you've created a somewhat complex schedule. You don't want to actually delete it, but you want to pause it. You can do that with that setting. Random delay is used for randomly delaying a schedule's start time between 0 to 60 seconds. And this is helpful if you have a bunch of schedules that run at a particular time. You might have 5 schedules start at midnight, but your server is going to be bogged down when you do that. So if you set a random delay, it'll kind of scatter them through the next minute rather than starting them all exactly at midnight. Next is the option for time. So these are like simple basic schedules that you can run every minute, every 5 minutes, every 15 minutes, that kind of thing. And we have a couple of certain times of the day. And depending on the schedule, it might make sense to set a time zone. So if you're running it at midnight, you may want to run it at midnight Eastern or midnight Central Europe time or something like that. And then you have options for environments and credentials. So just like with scripts and jobs that you start manually, you can select the environment credential. These values won't be available if your script has them defined. So if your script is set to run with Windows PowerShell, your schedule can't override that. It's just going to run with Windows PowerShell. And same with the credential. And finally, just like when you're running jobs manually, we have options to set the parameters of scripts. So I have a single parameter in my script, and I can set that value. So I'm creating a script or a schedule that's going to run every minute. And now you can see that I've created my schedule. It's pretty much stating the script that's going to run, the name of the schedule it's currently running on, and then the next execution time of this schedule. So what that actually did was two things. It created a new schedule inside my schedules file here. And here you can see that it set the cron schedule to this. So I'll talk a little bit about cron schedules in a second. Our simple schedules are more or less just cron schedules. So we mapped these basic schedules to cron expressions. This is the script we're going to run, the time zone, which is our system default, the credential that we're going to run it on, the parameter that I specified to pass to the script, and then the name of the schedule. So in a minute, that will run, and you'll actually see it show up in the jobs page. And you can see a few seconds ago, this schedule ran. And if I click here, you can see that my value was passed in. So that was the value that I passed in as that parameter. And then I'm also running a who am I to see who I'm running this particular schedule as. And you can see it ran a few seconds ago. It took 100 milliseconds. It ran in the integrated environment. So let's look at the other scheduling options. So we're going to come in here, we're just going to delete this schedule, and we'll create a new schedule, and it'll go over to continuous. So what a continuous schedule is that it just continues to run. And this is useful for, pinging servers or that kind of thing where you want to do it, you don't really know how long it's going to take, and as soon as it's done, you want to start up again, So we're going to select a script. You can, again, set a lot of the same options, paused, random delay, that kind of thing. But the important one here is the delay, which is how many seconds to wait before starting the script again. So you would run the script, you could wait 5 minutes or 30 seconds, and then it would run the script again. It doesn't matter how long the script takes, it's just going to run 30 seconds after the last time it stopped. So again, I could set this to 30, and set my parameter, and it's going to set that schedule to run every 30 seconds. So again, this will just kind of behave as you'd expect. In 30 seconds, it'll run the script. As long as that takes, then we'll wait 30 seconds after it's done to start another execution of that script. All right, so the next option that we have are cron schedules. So this is actually the same thing as our simple schedule. Our simple schedule just gives you some options for cron values, more or less. But the cron schedule allows you to actually specify your own expression. So again, you would select your script, and in this case, you would put in a cron expression. So then you could use a tool such as this one, where you could define your cron expression and put it into PowerShell Universal. So if I were to take this one that says every day at midnight and put that into my expression for my cron schedule here and click OK, now you can see my schedule is going to run every night at 12 a.m. All right. Now the last scheduling option that we have is a one-time schedule. So a one-time schedule is just sometime in the future. Again, you can specify a time zone and then select the date and time when that's going to run. Again, you have to be cognizant of the time zone in this case, and you'll see that it's going to run at the time you select it. I want to show one more tidbit of scheduling knowledge so that you can kind of be aware of how scheduling takes place, and it helps with kind of debugging your schedules. So you have a schedule view in here, and if we were to create a simple schedule again, we're going to set it to every minute. I don't know, we'll set some time zone and click OK. And now, one thing you can do to actually view the scheduling engine that we use on the back end is if you go to Settings, General, Diagnostics, there's actually a Job Details page that you can click here. And this will take you over to our Hangfire dashboard. So Hangfire is the scheduling component that we use inside PowerShell Universal. And what's cool about that is you can actually see your scheduled jobs in here. So this is an example of a scheduled job that runs every minute. So this was the one that we had just scheduled. So if we actually go back to localhost 5000, if you remember that we scheduled one every minute, and it's actually, I set this as my time zone. So this is how you can tell that your schedules are running appropriately. The other thing that you can see is jobs that have run. So if you actually go to the jobs page, you can see the succeeded jobs, and you can see here are the jobs that have been running. So it gives you a lot more information about the jobs, about app tokens that were passed in, about who was running this, the cron schedule that was used, that kind of thing. So this is only accessible to admin users, but it's a good way to kind of debug your scheduler if you ever run into problems where you've created some complex schedules and it's not quite working as you expect. This just gives you a lot more information. So in this video, we looked at how to set up schedules inside PowerShell Universal and how to debug schedules once they're established.